Hi, my name is Al Wyvern, and this is Station Generator Beta Build 1. This is just going to be a short feature show just to show you what it can do. So let's get into it. Station Generator is of course there to generate stations. Space station maps for use in Dungeons and Dragons, Space Team Dungeons and Dragons, or maybe Shadowrun or Traveller. Be pretty good for Traveller, I would say, or any other ones that I probably don't know, but there's probably loads of areas this could be used. Also could be used for your, not just printing them out, but you could use them in your Roll20 campaign and any other online ones that you can upload, I guess. So anyway, we get right into it now. Stations are generated using our controls down the bottom here, and as you can see it tells you how many rooms are available for us to use. In this case it's 40, and corridors are included in that because we can change how many corridors we want as well. So just as how much available space really that we have to play with, because you might decide you want a big station or a small station. 40 might be enough, it might be too much. We can change our physical settings down here: max width, max height, max density, and that's just for the random path. So these physical settings, physical controls down here will change depending on which type of room we are trying to create. But for the purposes of this, we're going to stick to random path because that's kind of one of my favorites. We also can change these are our presets here. So we get our default navy, support. It just changes the balance of the rooms, so you can get something on the fly quite quickly. There we have a military station, and you can save it. So you just click on save as PNG, and there we go, it's saved to the hard drive. And it will always have an individual name until we change the station by generating a new one, because this is just changing the random generation seed, and it is fairly deterministic in how the rooms are generated, but I won't get into that today. With the other control we have here is our basic, standard and advanced, and I'll get into that in just a moment. I would just have another quick look around the other couple of features we have here before we get in. They will give access to more controls. So we have our general menu up here, so we can turn off the music if we don't have music. The music, by the way, is by Cornelis Jordan, and the soundtrack is available on Bandcamp, and it is really good. I mean, I guess I'm biased, but I really enjoy it. I think it's quite atmospheric. And we can turn off the background rumble of the space station here, but that's fine, we'll leave it on. And we can zoom in using the mouse roller. We can look just right in at our rooms. You right click, hold and drag, and people are stations, the stars in the background. We've got a little parallax. That's a new feature for Beta 1. And then we can zoom in. Every time you generate, at the moment, every time you generate a new station, it centers the camera again and zooms out. So that may be a feature I'll change in the future. There's a list of future updates on what I'm going to be putting in them, available on the itch page and on this as an announcement on the Steam Greenlight, and you can read them for more information. And one thing I will say is I'm always open to feedback, and a lot of this has been built on feedback from a lot of great people, and I'm very grateful for that. And I've had a lot of ideas myself, but I've had a lot of great input from other people of things that I hadn't thought of. Anyway, so we'll move on. Basic controls, standard controls. Oh, there was one more. I'll get to that one in the end actually, so I'll go back to that later. So this is all our rooms and our room types. So we've got Navy, Military, Engineering, Support and Civilian, which is reflected here. We've got a default as well. That's just that everything is evenly balanced. Then we can decide how many corridors we want. So if you mouse over, we also get to see what each room looks like at full size, so we know what's what when we're editing. And all the sliders here are balanced against each other, and when they're orange, that means they're balanced as a weighting. So by different weights, but they're all equal weights, so there should be equal numbers of the stations. And if you were to move one up, for instance the landing pad, there will now be more stations than there are of anything else by the value of its weighting. So if there's a value weighting of, for instance, 2, which you can't see, but we get to that, There'll be twice as many landing pads as there is anything else, as the rest have one currently. And we also have the ability to change the number of corridors and the number of unoccupied rooms, which is just empty rooms, I guess. It's fairly straightforward. So that just gives you a quick access to fiddle around with the rooms without going too deep into it, but we can go to the advanced and get access to everything. So we've got a little bit more information here. Now we can see how many rooms are being used. So N is for the number of rooms, which is the actual physical number of rooms represented here in our station. W is the weighting, so the weighting here is 3, which is 3 times heavier than a weighting of 2. And G is for grouping, so you can group the rooms together. As you see there, the landing pads are now all together. And we can click over to number here and zoom in, zoom them all the way around. I kind of like that effect, which is useful. So the station will update as you change, so you can see exactly what's going to go on here, which is a new feature for beta 1. The old one was static and you had to generate a station every time, which would then change the map, which wasn't always great, because maybe you like this map and you just wanted to fiddle around with the rooms a little bit. So that was kind of a pity that you lost that, but now you don't. Now you can keep the room until you hit generate station and get a new one, or you can keep the station, should I say. And you can have as many, so it turns blue when you set by number, and what it will do, it will approximate what the weight would be if you changed it back to the weight. And the reason I have them changing orange and blue is it's at a glance it's immediately easy to see what is grouped by weighting and what is grouped by number. And the rendering order is always starts at landing pad and works its way down through the ranks, just so we know exactly how it's going to work. And another way you can change the numbers, you can actually directly input them. Just click on it. Now I want 5 armories, and there we go, we've got 5. And if I want to group them, I'll just click here, and now all the armories are grouped together. Of course, the grouping is relative because the corridors are in the way, so it does try to get them as close to each other as they can. But if there were no corridors, for instance, I'll just get rid of the corridors, and here the armories are here, all grouped together. As you can see, you can just make it grow out until it takes over the whole station, more or less. Because these were already set as numbers, it won't override the numbers, because the max will always be just what's left. So the station renders by generating all the numbered stations, because you want exactly that number of every of these types of rooms in the station, and then whatever's left over will be used in the weightings. So in this case, lots of nothing left over because I've taken them all up with the rig. But then, as you can see, when I reduce it, it gets filled in. So, and then of course we have to group, and you can group every room individually as you like. And I think, yeah, if I change to a different one, it changes. Some rooms are grouped, some aren't, and some all waiting. All the presets are done by weighting. So that's pretty much it. I mean, there's a lot you can do here. There's a lot of different numbers of stations you can come up with.